asked for the president's perspective on taking care of the docket issue, and he sent over what has changed, his 4 pillars. I think the first part of that, which was stunning and no one expected it, was there are 690,000 official DACA registrants, and the president sent over what amounts to be 2.5 times that number, to 1.8 million. The difference between 690 and 1.8 million were the people that some would say were too afraid to sign up, others would say were too lazy to get off their asses, but they didn't sign up. So the president shockingly said, okay, 1.8 million, and then probably the biggest shock was in a path to citizenship. That's beyond what anyone could have imagined, whether you're on the right or the left. And then on top of that, kind of the third tier of that is that any of the family members, based on the chain, so-called chain of family unification, that anyone in the chain or in the pipeline, 4 million roughly, will be allowed to continue through the pipeline. The pipeline will just end. So that's kind of the first leg of this whole stool. The second one, of course, would be the elimination of chain migration, or family unification, some would call it. And but again, after the 4 million that are in the pipeline move through, and then of course the issue of doing away with the lottery system, and then finally the interior enforcement. I shouldn't say finally, the wall system that the president talks about, and that would be in some places, many places, as a.
There we have it. John Kelly saying Dreamers who didn't sign up for DACA were too afraid or too lazy. And then you have people that are getting mad at John Kelly for calling it like it is. Good morning. Kevin Miller in the morning on KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM, 107.5 FM. Your thoughts, your views on the DACA deal, the government running out of money. Oh, my. It's kind of like one of your favorite music radio stations. We just play the hits, and the hits just continue to be the same old, and exposing the deep state, all before 9 a.m. right here in the Treasure Valley in Idaho. Back to your phone calls. Pro-Life, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Yeah, Arvell, he got it right. If we don't get right with God, we're never going to get our Constitution right. And we're living under an era of fake Christianity. I'm not saying doctrinally. I'm saying that our churches are fake because churches are supposed to protect the morals and the life of preborn babies. And if the churches don't come out in the streets, if they don't go everywhere saying abortion is murder, we got to stop these sexual sins that we have going on, then society deteriorates, and then we get mushhead people kind of trying to be politicians and trying to straighten out the Constitution, but they never get the Constitution right because they don't get Christianity right. Now, we say we have three We say we have 3 co-equal branches of government. That's a lie. The Congress is the disciplinary branch. It has the impeachment power. Now we're talking about right now how everything's gone astray, in the Justice Department, the FBI. Congress needs to say to the president, you get rid of those people or we'll get rid of you and those people. But they don't have the courage. And so people running for Congress right now, there's 6 of them, like in our 1st district. There's only one of them that's inclined to say that. That's Michael Snyder. And in the Simpson side, on the other side, I don't even think there's anybody running against Simpson. He's not going to say that kind of stuff.
He might be the chairman of the Appropriations Committee.
Yeah, well, he wants to...
The most powerful committee in all of Congress.
Yeah, well, he wants to play it safe so he can maybe be the Speaker of the House someday. But he's a mushhead. He's not going to...
Now, how can you say he's a mushhead?
Well, he's a mushhead because
he continues to win.
I know, but he knows better spiritually and morally. All of these people do. They just don't have the courage to say, okay, we're going to start at the basics. We're going to tell our churches we're not going to give you money. We're not going to do anything unless you straighten up the moral things. If you're not going to stop the murder of babies, if the churches aren't going to discipline their people that murder babies, discipline the politicians, throw them out of their church, say you're excommunicated if you're going to vote for abortion, to fund abortion. They're not going to.
What do you say to all the people that are pro-abortion?
What about them?
What do you think of people that are pro-abortion?
Well, most of them, because the people on our side, we won't say abortion is murder, so then they believe that abortion is some medical condition that has to be regulated by government. It isn't. It's murder. It's not some kind of something that's. It's just plain out murder. But we've turned it all around, and we don't even use the word abort. We should use the word murder instead of abortion. You have to always use the word murder in conjunction with abortion, or you never get anywhere. So if you don't even get the very basic life issue right, how are you going to get the constitutional issues right?
Well, you have people that disagree with you and that are down with, how should we put this, the opposite of how you feel.
No, I know there are those kind of people, and lots of them. If I don't speak up, there won't be another guy that speaks up. Arvell, there's just very few of us. When we had the gay parade, Arvell and I were the only two that went down there, told the gay people, we love you enough to tell you that you need to repent and go straight, have babies.
And the gays, you had the gay police watching you, right?
Yeah, they were
protecting
us. So
why would you need the gay police to protect you? Because the gays would beat you up?
The bad gays would beat up the nice Christians that were telling them to go straight. Yeah.
That doesn't seem very tolerant to me.
They're not very tolerant.
So you said there's actually good gays and bad gays.
Yeah, there's tolerant gays and there's intolerant. But most of them, when you get in that deep into sin, you don't want to believe that you're wrong, and so you'll get pretty violent.
Have they gotten in your face before?
Yeah.
You're a big guy.
They were about to punch me out, and the gay police stopped them.
The gays were going to punch you out.
Yeah, but the gay police stopped it.
Did they have a gay badge?
I don't know, but somehow the violent gays respected the gay cops and said, "Listen, you can't punch this guy out. He's just exercising."
Were they singing "It's Raining Men"?
No, they were just acting like, "Hey, you don't have any business coming in here to our parade and telling us what to do."
All right, pro-life. Thank you for the call.
All right, see you.
All right, we'll be seeing you. We go to Jim in Boise with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, sir. I just had a comment on Jeff Sessions and not doing indictments, not going fast enough. I also think that it's juicy. It's getting out there. Some of the information's coming out, but I think they're trying to wait. This is kind of like a few good catches of fish, but I think the bigger ones are still out there. I think if they give it more time, they can get a better case, a better indictment against the whole group. If you just go out and do it right away with a little bit of evidence you got, you're just going to get a few of them. I think it's wise for them to wait to see what all comes out so they can not necessarily get a better case, but get a larger group in the net, so to speak. That's part of what I think. But if he doesn't do that once all the evidence is out there and that kind of thing, I'm with the others. Replace him, put in Ted Cruz or something. He knows his law stuff. He would do good about pursuing justice and judgment on these people. I think he'd be a good pick if Jeff Sessions doesn't do something once everything's out there, or as much as they're going to get anyway.
Well, I don't believe that this Democratic memo should be released. We don't even know what it is. They don't even know what it is, but it's going to stop the Republican memo, really.
Well, if it's anything like the, the rebuttal after the State of the Union, I couldn't even follow that. It was like here, there, everywhere. I couldn't follow anything about what he was saying. If the memo is going to be the same thing as that, that'll be the true nothing burger that they're talking about. The other one will be...
He looked like a very confused young man.
Yeah, I was just like, what are you saying? I couldn't follow any of it.
Jim, thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio.
Thank you.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. This is, let's get back to what John Kelly said.
Were the people that some would say were too afraid to sign up, others would say were too lazy to get off their asses, but they didn't sign up. So the president shockingly said, okay, 1.8 million. And then,
there you have it. So you have 600,000 DACAs, and the president decided that they were too, what did he say, they were too afraid or too lazy, that didn't get off their blanks to sign up. Now people are condemning John Kelly. Well, if you listen to it in context, which we did to start the hour, that's what amazes me about everybody. Well, I've been here 30 years and I'm a citizen. Well, why didn't you go hire an immigration attorney and do it legally? Why would I do that when the government can do it for me? I mean, really, how much of a, jelly donuts do we have to be as a society today? Look, I resemble that. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But, I mean, realistically, here we are sitting here. We're about ready to legalize these folks, and everybody goes, well, what about the dreamers? They have a dream. Yeah, I had a dream. We've all had lots of dreams, right? It's not about the government to make my dreams a reality, is it?
The difference between 690 and 1.8 million were the people that some would say were too afraid to sign up, others would say were too lazy to get off their asses, but they didn't sign up.
Donald Trump, he's a bad man, and General Kelly's a bad man. Didn't get off their fannies, didn't get off their derrieres to sign up. Well, why would they? Because they were citizens. Well, no, you're not. It's like people that drive around without driver's licenses. You're not legally a driver. The goofy part about this is it seems there are more consequences for people that are caught without driver's licenses than there are people without being a citizen in America today. And if you're all tolerant and stuff, you have these people that are taking your jobs, these people that are taking slots in universities, and it breaks my heart. It breaks all of our hearts in America today, whether you have children, grandchildren, or a curmudgeon like me, that you sit back and you think, what type of world are we leaving to our heirs when we're giving away the farm to people that have come here and absconded with it? Some of them are very nice. That's great. Let them do it legally, like all of us. Is that asking too much? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
KID.
Kevin Miller in the morning here. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Doug in Mountain Home, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, yeah, it's about pro-life, about the man that called in about judgment of God in our country. I believe it's in a terrible shape. But there's a book, Kevin, out, just a little paperback book, been out for a couple of years, called Heaven is for Real.
Yeah.
Have you read that?
They put it in a movie, didn't they?
Yeah, they made it into a movie. They didn't. The book's a whole lot better, Kevin. It really is. But there's a part in there that the mother had a miscarriage. And when the little boy was in heaven, he met his sister. And as soon as I read that, I mean, she didn't have a name, and she told him that she was waiting for her mommy and dad to name her. And it was his sister, the one that was a miscarriage. Kevin, to me, that means every aborted child is up there. People ought to stop and think about what kind of consequences you're going to face in the afterlife, because there is an afterlife.
Hold on, Doug. Before you go, what scares me is, now, what do you do for entertainment? Do you outdoors person, or you watch TV? What do you do?
I'm outdoors, Kevin. I hunt.
Okay.
I've hunted and trapped all my life. I felled timber for 26 years. I don't even have a TV. I read a lot. So there you go.
Well, what I'm saying is, and that's good, because I sit there and, as you know, I watch a lot of television, a lot of popular culture, and what really gets me is that pretty much every major show, they have people having sex outside of marriage, and then they have people that are having abortions. And they, you just take a pill, ha, 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 and we trivialize life. The popular culture does. We trivialize it. We make it demeaning. And all you have to do is talk to our friends, the Ripleys from Idaho Chooses Life, or anybody else, or look at a little baby and understand the magic and God's blessings. And what we've done as a culture through our entertainment, through our callousness, training ourselves that life is to be thrown away and disposable, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to combat it.
Kevin, you hit it right on the head. It's just like all these school shootings. I mean, I'm 62, going on 62. There was none of this stuff going on when I was in school. Nothing like this. Sure, you had a fight every once in a while. But when you look at what kids do on the internet and on their games, I mean, killing each other on them games, like, I mean, from one side of the country to the other, they can play that stuff. I've watched it with my son and them, and I mean, playing that stuff on there, and they're killing each other, and they have no reality. They think, well, he'll just bounce right back up. I really think a lot of this stuff is, I don't think I know, it's Satan. I mean, God says that it's not flesh and blood, it's spiritual stuff, battles that we're fighting that we don't see. This country's a mess, man. And this guy that we have for commander-in-chief, I'm not saying he's perfect, but he is the biggest breath of fresh air I have seen since Reagan, period.
I would agree. Doug, thank you for the call. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you. God bless you.
And let's get back to that in a minute. KIDO Talk Radio Time, 25 after the hour. Let's get you. Kevin Miller in the morning here, but I go back to what we've been talking about and the value of life. The value of life, and, we see this all the time. The value of life that is diminished. And say what you want about Donald Trump, but he's been our best pro-life president that we've had. And when we take a look at our popular culture, just two things. I was sitting watching a couple things, and there's this show starring Dwayne Johnson, and he's The Rock, and he's a big guy, and he's on this show called Ballers on HBO. And he hooks up with a young lady, and because he's in his mid-40s, he wants to have a kid, because that's what you're supposed to do. It's not about being a father or anything else, but that's what he wants to do. So he deliberately tries to get her pregnant. She takes the morning after pill, and all is forgotten. Another show on Netflix, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, where a woman has an abortion and no big deal. And you're thinking to yourself, what are we doing as a society? Why don't we, it would be great if society would glorify people that are parents. And we can talk about the ministry involving the clergy, and we can talk about people that give, and I love people that do nonprofit work. I truly believe they are doing God's work on this earth. They truly get it, unlike, well, I'll just say myself that, you're focused on, well, I need to have this and this materialism and that sort of thing. But the people that work in the nonprofit sector, they get their ROI through saving animals or saving people. And we don't pump them up enough. Our friend Dr. Romero, he's always talking about the good news. And I often thought there should be books about the good news, about people doing good things at 580-5436. And instead we have the media. We have the popular, perverted entertainment culture that focuses in on the negative. There was a show on the Audience Network about boxing in the MMA. And then they had somebody else getting another abortion. I mean, it's like going to the grocery store. And that is not a decision that people make lightly. But you have people that do it. When I watch that, I turn it off. I go, this is not entertaining. But what it does is reinforce the false narrative that the media and the entertainment business talk about when it comes to life and such. How many people have been saved by adoption? How many people would love to adopt children? People kick it on America, and it is such a disservice to our great nation. I'm amazed when I see the unconditional love of the beautiful people here in Idaho or across the country when they adopt children. Some people go to China. I have a good friend of mine who adopted a little boy that's, adopted his son who was in Russia. And he said, Kevin Miller, you wouldn't believe what those kids go through. You wouldn't believe the crazy Wild West standard of living. They don't have unleaded gasoline in Russia. It stinks over there. Just like in China. China stinks. And, you have these beautiful babies in orphanages. And we have American families doing this. And yet we have people portraying identity politics. I would love to see, and maybe it's on a TV station or a radio show I don't know about where you just pump up people. Of course, that doesn't give you the headlines, right? But the idea of getting away from God, America has moved away from God since the decadent, deplorable 1960s. With the sexual revolution, and it's all about me, forget about we. Have we really, technologically we've gone away, but we've come a long way, but have we really improved as a family? Have we really improved as a society as we've more embraced the promotion of self as a promotion of God and family and community, right? My grandmother always said I should have been a priest, so I will get off the pulpit now. Coming up next, we'll talk to Jeff Manasso. We'll take more of your phone calls. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good.
Before we get back to the news of the day, let's have some good news here at KIDO Talk Radio.
Deborah Seyerveld never thought she'd see Abby again. Yeah. She had disappeared 10 years ago.
We searched and searched, and we figured something had happened to her.
But one day, she got a call.
And they said, this is Allegheny Animal Shelter calling from New Kensington. And I said, yes. And she said, we have your dog.
Someone 10 miles away had found Abby.
I kept thinking, Abby, this can't be.
Deborah said the shelter found Abby in good health. They used a chip embedded in the dog to find her owner. And while Abby's whereabouts for the past decade remain a mystery, Deborah and her family are happy to welcome back their dog. In Apollo, Pennsylvania, Michelle Chavez, Fox News.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's get to Jeff Manasso joining us now with, a case that's traveling through the courts. Jeff, good morning.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Not bad, as always. Always look forward to your insightful reports here. So we've got a discrimination case heading to the 7th Circuit.
Yeah, so the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals heard arguments yesterday in Marcia Wetzel's case that she's a 70-year-old woman who is a lesbian and who had a partner of 30 years, and when that partner died, she moved to a nursing home. So she alleges that this nursing home in suburban Chicago in Niles, it's called Glen St. Andrew Living Center, that it did nothing to stop residents from hurling slurs, spitting on her, and physically harassing her because of her sexual orientation. The facility's attorney argued in court filings that the home did not discriminate against Wetzel. To the contrary, they alleged that the senior center defended her when she first complained and offered medical care after Wetzel said she was pushed from behind by one of the residents there. But Wetzel's attorney says that the center had the power to stop residents who discriminated against her and failed to do so. A lower court dismissed that case last year, concluding that Wetzel had not shown that administrators displayed any discriminatory animus, motive, or intent. So basically, the legal system has to grapple with the question of what a landlord's obligation is under federal law to stop harassment of one resident by others. Now, if the appeals court reinstates the case, it could help establish that federal Fair Housing Act protections do extend to LGBT tenants in these types of situations. Though it's unclear on what the decision will be when the panel gives us their decision. One of the judges on the panel sounded skeptical that the law could be stretched to hold administrators liable for tenants' abusive behavior. Well, another judge suggested that it could be. So we'll see.
It's interesting when you're thinking about this, though, that this would go on. whether you agree with someone or not, this type of alleged discrimination just based on the fact of the world we live in today, and really, who has time for that stuff? I don't get it.
It makes you think that no matter how old you get, you're still at some point kind of in high school, right?
Yeah, until you get like the bad neighbors or what have you. You know what I mean? You don't think it's possible until it happens to you.
Right.
Jeff Manasso, on another note, what do you make of, switching gears to my beloved New England Patriots, what do you make of, there's dissension going on? I don't know about that. What do you think?
What do you mean dissension? I mean, what does it even mean?
I mean, all the sports people are going, they're running wild because Josh McDaniels spurned the Colts and Belichick and Kraft based on one report, and Brady's running things because he likes something on Instagram from Malcolm Butler. I probably need to get a life, but this is what they're alleging here. Your thoughts? This
is the type of inside politics that the media just eats up. On Super Bowl week, prior to the Super Bowl, it's the drama that's playing out behind the scenes. Look, we've already seen the NFL just drop in numbers in terms of people paying attention. I think people are paying far less attention to this kind of stuff.
Well, it makes you wonder. Spring football gives you something to do.
Yeah, well, I suppose. But basketball, which had been failing in numbers for quite some time, it's getting even more and more popular. And as people get away from the political side and the drama side of sports of late, people are flocking to other venues like the NBA now, back to the NBA and other sports because they're just tired of it.
Jeff Manasso, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
You too. Thanks, Kevin.
Our great friend Jeff Manasso joining us. So, phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. There's a lot of hype and hyperbole going on. And before I met you, I was like every other person in media and on the radio. You're selling something, you're doing something, and the people that I'm talking about, the announcers, blah, 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 the faux outrage business. And I can remember one time when I was defending Michael Savage on CNN, calling out a couple people for his comments on autism. And there's some lady ripping me and all these things. And I go, man, save the phony outrage for something that really matters. And we've got a big situation in our beloved Treasure Valley, our local community, involving St. Mary's Parish, one of the best parishes in the Catholic Diocese of Boise. People love their parish. As we get ready for Lent, this is a significant time of year. Now we have the media doing their job, covering the story and having quotes from the Diocese of Boise about Father Fauché. And as we've talked about before, this is the devil's work when you have somebody of faith who has fallen. And yes, Father Fauché is innocent until proven guilty. He's done a lot of good things in the community, but this is embarrassing, this is troubling, and this is a pattern that has happened throughout the Catholic Church. And when you see people, particularly people that go to Catholic schools and are altar servers and such, it undermines the great work of the parish priest. And not to turn this into our version of the Catholic Hour or the Lutheran Hour, and we love to have the Lutheran Hour on at 6:30 and 8:30 on Sunday mornings here at KIDO Talk Radio, and our proud Lutheran Tea Party Bob, along with others. When you have something like this, it's very easy to, get up and say stupid things and have the faux outrage. But as someone who has been with my church for over 50 years, who have, as I've disclosed, I had a priest hit on me. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone, not just the people of St. Mary's, not to the people that are just Christians, but all people of faith. We need to band together. And there's a special place, and it's not a good place, for people that not only partake in these activities that are so detrimental to society that I won't mention them on our family-friendly radio station, but for the people that know about it and cover it up, the people that know about it and don't do anything about it. There was a movie, what was it called? Spotlight. And I haven't. Thank you very much. That's what happens when you have one audio source, folks. And it was about how the Boston Globe broke the big story concerning the priest scandal. And now you have allegations that Pope Francis, back in 2013, he knew of some abuse going on and didn't do anything about it, allegedly. Now you have Father Fauché that said Pope Benedict was too old at 82 to be, according to published reports, to be running the church. And, you know, if you're not a Catholic, you kind of look at priests and go, well, what's that about? Well, the priest is our pastor, our minister. He, you know, runs the show, for lack of a better thing. And people go to him for guidance just like they would do in the Protestant church as a pastor. And there are so many gifted and talented priests, and even some that I disagree with from the pulpit, but that contribute to the goodness here. It is a shame. It is a good thing, though, that people know about this. Now, the church saying there's no excuses for the behavior of Father Fauché. And when you look at these 12 counts of child pornography, when you look at the statements attributed to him, it is tough. Now, you have a spokesman for the Diocese of Boise said this to the Statesman.
Deeply, deeply saddened, shocked, sad for not only children who are exploited like this, but sad for the many faithful priests, deacons, religious sisters, lay people who every day, without fanfare, do the work of the church the way that this kind of reflects on them. And saddened for St. Mary's Parish in particular, which has a tremendous outreach to our Hispanic community, has a food bank and a school, and does a lot of good work in the community. So yeah, sad for so many people all the way around.
And there has to be justice. By the way, this is Gene Fadness. He's the spokesman for the Diocese of Boise, from our friends at the Idaho Statesman, sharing his comments at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But if this is, as we believe, are led to believe by the prosecutors, if this happened in somebody's house, Father Fauché's house, look, you know, we can do one of two things. We can embrace hyperbole and be nitwits, or we can have an honest, legitimate discussion in an effort to stop child exploitation, stop child abuse, stop children and the pornography and all the other sycophantic stuff that goes on, and have a zero tolerance. Thank God for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that put an end to this, right? You know, apparently there's a group in Idaho that's trying to stop sex trafficking. I ran across it on Facebook. I mean, this is stuff going on that a lot of us probably aren't aware of until, unfortunately, it happens to us or a family member. Let's go to Christian in Weiser with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Christian.
Hey, good morning. I want to talk about, like you were saying, you know, like people that volunteer, nonprofit, and adoption. Now, my wife and I had a child a little later in life. He's 7 and I'm 50 now. And we would love to have another child. We can't afford to adopt a child. And I just never understood why. Like, if you're taking a foster child, the state will give you money to help support to that child while you care for them. And then when you're like, okay, state, I've got it now, I'll take it from here, here's tens of thousands of dollars they want you to pay to be able to do that. I mean, you know, it's like I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. I can support another child and have a happy home for another child. But I can't afford tens of thousands of dollars all at once to make that happen. I think they need to, you know, make it a little easier, make it a little less cumbersome financially for someone to actually adopt a child. Does that make sense?
I would agree.
And I just, because I, you know, was listening while I waited, that, you know, you're talking about the child pornography. One thing I honestly do not understand is the government, you know, apparently they have computers that if you say the word, you know, terrorist or anything, you know, an algorithm will pick it up and, what are they talking about? Where are people getting this Where are they downloading it from? How is there so much of it out there that is not being like, bam, shut down immediately when it's put up? You know they could see and find this stuff if they really would take the time. I mean, stop it before people even are able to get a hold of it. You know, there's a good use for our tax dollars.
Christian, thank you, and God bless you and your family.
God bless you.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up next, what to do when someone of faith crosses the line. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And we move along. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And going back to the fallout over Father Forche, Gene Fadness, spokesman for the Diocese of Boise from the Idaho Statesman.
Well, I can't speak for all the priests, all the parishes. I know at St. Mary's, where I'm a parishioner, which is the parish that was obviously most affected. Our pastor spoke briefly about it. He told the people to let the justice system play out, to not speculate until we know more. He talked a lot about light shining in darkness and trying to give people hope. There's a lot of people there who are who have known Father Forche for years, so there was a lot of sadness and a lot of shock and some anger. And so he was trying to speak to those concerns of his people. They can go to the website. All of the information is on the website on how to file a complaint. Probably the quicker way is to contact the diocese directly. We have an Office of Child and Youth Protection. The number is on the website, and also just by calling our main switchboard, they would get automatically connected to her. Veronica Childers is the woman who...
And there we have it at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Father Forche charged with 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a child, 2 counts of distributing sexual exploitive material involving children. The last 2 charges are both for drug possession, and we're talking about marijuana, ecstasy, and LSD. Now, I'm sure Liberal Steve would call me ignorant of the world that we live in today, but I can't imagine anybody in their 70s having marijuana, ecstasy, and LSD, along with hundreds of images of pornography, children pornography, in your home, regardless of the age. Can anybody explain that to me? 56 after the hour, time for traffic and weather together. And to Big John with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Big John.
Hello, Kevin. Hey, you've had some great calls this morning, all the way from Liberty, Linda, Ron, Paul, Jim, Hank, and Terry from State College, or formerly State College of Pennsylvania. My mistake. But, you know, just illustrates the fact also Pro-Life made a great comment. He's absolutely right. You know, that we can't, how can we fix the Constitution when we can't even figure out, you know, get it right at birth or conception, actually, you know, more like it. But anyway, I got to go. See you later.
All right, Big John, thank you for that quick hitter. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Don't forget this Saturday, we would love to see you at Dave & Buster's 50 for 50, where we're asking you to bring an item of, a canned item or another food item that would benefit the families of the Boise Rescue Mission. We would love to see you there. We'll be at Dave & Buster's from 4 to 6. We're looking for, again, non-perishable food items to help our friends at the Boise Rescue Mission. Remember, hunger, homelessness, it doesn't take a day off, and just because the holidays are over, it doesn't mean that the need isn't there as well. So we would love to see you there. Again, details at KIDOTalkRadio.com. You know, earlier we were talking about the NFL and what the NFL needs to do to get back to what it once was. I think it's very simple. They need to get out of politics, right? I think they need to get out of, you know, making political statements and just get back to X's and O's. Because as Jeff Manasso said, that is the great escape, right? That's our great escape from the politics. I mean, how many times do we want to cover another government shutdown. How many times can we say to ourselves, boy, I wish I could have a shutdown when it came to my creditors. I wish I could shut down Visa or Chase or Discover. It just doesn't happen. It's funny how government lives in the fantasy world that we pay for, and we live in the real world that we continue to pay for. Blessed to be with you. Fox News is next. Stay with us. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.